Hi, I'm Carrie Potter. I'm a licensed mental health counselor associate here in Washington. And today I'm going to share a few thoughts about breakups. I get a lot of clients in my practice that find me after going through a breakup. And one thing that I just want to start with is acknowledging that a breakup is a really significant loss, or it can be in your life. You know, it is something that sometimes people react to as, I should get over this. This isn't a big deal. Maybe their relationship wasn't that long. But I think a breakup can be really significant for a lot of different reasons. For one thing, a breakup can bring up a lot of feelings of disappointment, maybe unmet expectations, this feeling of what might have been maybe activated, and those can be really difficult things to deal with. Another thing that could happen is that you could feel feelings of sadness, of anger, of regret, of fear of the future, loneliness, and even shame. That feeling of that kind of mindset of there's something wrong with me, there's something inherently unlovable or unworthy about me. These kind of feelings too can actually activate memories or other experiences from our past when we felt the same way. So whether those are feelings of abandonment or loneliness, sadness, you might find that even though a memory is many years in the past, it might come up afresh when you start feeling those same feelings that you had in the past during that past memory. Sometimes one of the things that can be most difficult about a breakup is that when we go to people that we assume are going to give us comfort and help as we talk about our feelings, sometimes their responses can unwittingly reinforce those feelings of disappointment and being alone. And that can happen when we go to someone expecting a compassionate, understanding, empathetic response, and instead we get a, he didn't deserve you, you're better off without her, you'll find somebody better, or at least, fill in the blank, at least you weren't married, at least the relationship didn't go on longer, all those kind of things. So although your friends or your family might be trying to help, what that does is kind of communicate to you that they don't understand your feelings and they kind of just want you to move on from them. And so when you're sharing a feeling of loneliness and their response makes you feel even more lonely, that's a pretty difficult situation to be in. It's important to acknowledge these feelings, all of them, after a breakup, if you really want to move forward in a healthy way. And acknowledging might look like, finding a therapist to talk to about them, finding a safe person to talk to, or even just allowing yourself to feel them, even for a little while. I know sometimes it can be so scary to actually feel your feelings, because when the floodgates open, you just don't know when they're going to stop, and the feelings can feel so powerful that you just can't trust that you're never going to feel this way. But I think you will. I think that feelings tend to come and go. They will pass. It may feel like you're drowning, but it won't feel like that forever. Another thing to think about is, what are some ways that you can care for yourself in this time after a breakup? And I always recommend that you think about ways that you can engage your senses. So, oftentimes what we go to is maybe just comfort food, which is great, right? But you do have some other senses. So you have your sense of sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. So thinking about the sense of sight, I can remember I had a college professor when I was in college right after 9/11, and we went to a lecture probably about a week after 9/11, and he just showed us slides of beautiful paintings. And that's what we did the entire class session. So I always think of that. What's some beauty that you can bring, whether it's finding some artwork that you really love, being out in nature, seeing something beautiful. Is there something you can do in your space where you live to bring some more beauty in? Smells. So My go-to there is a scented candle. Is there one that I have not been burning or saving for some reason that I can pull out and smell, or light and actually burn the candle? Is there an essential oil that you really love? Taste, I think we've probably got that covered, right? A comfort food, something that you know is going to be nourishing, make you feel great, and also taste good. Hearing, think about a playlist. Think about what you're listening to. Are you a person that when you are sad, you want to hear happy music? Or are you a person that when you're sad, you want to hear sad music? That's me. When I'm sad, I want to hear sad music person. And that actually helps me acknowledge and feel my feelings. And then touch, wearing soft fabrics, thinking about what blankets you're using as you're, cuddled up on the couch, or, when's the last time you washed your sheets? Like, all of those things are kind of touch things to think about. And then, are there ways to communicate with the people that you love that what you need from them is listening and understanding and maybe presence? What you don't need is them bad-mouthing your ex. That can be a hard conversation to have, but I think it can be so helpful to just say, listen, what I need from you is just to hear me and help me feel less alone. It's kind of that emotional equivalent of somebody sitting next to you with their arm around you. And maybe that's actually what you need, is another person sitting next to you, not trying to solve the problem, not trying to make you feel better and move on quicker, but just being with you in the midst of that grief. And I think it's good to remember that when you're feeling grief from the end of a relationship, it's coming from a good place. It's becoming because as humans, we need other people. And we are sad when the people that we love or need or want are no longer there. We're meant to have connections, and when those are gone, we're sad. That is actually a beautiful thing. And it shows you that you're human. It shows you that you have needs. And so think about, how can you find those connections? If that's what you really need and want, how can you find that connection? Maybe with a friend, maybe with another loved one, so that you can go through those feelings, go through that grief process from breakup. If you could use some help talking to somebody and you're in Washington State, I would love to be a resource for you. You can find more information at my website. Thanks.